So, hammer the delusion. We have to remind ourselves again and again and again that there is a false perception of the reality, and that false perception is caused by the ignorance. We are deluded when we think our ego or the sense of I is our true nature. It is only the Eastern wisdom which says, no, no, this is not you. This is your false I. The real I is hidden behind the false I. And that is the message of Bhaj Govindam, Bhaj Govindam, Bhaj Govindam, Bhaj Govindam. So when we say it is the false perception of the reality caused by the ignorance, what happens? It makes us see things as separate and permanent. But the fact is that they are temporary manifestations, and there is a role of sense organ and the mind and the sense of I. And we have taken for granted. We have taken for granted. That needs to be hammered again and again and again. If we do not hammer it, it will cause lot of pain in the problem. You remember I discussed a few weeks ago, or maybe a few months ago, that animals normally have one sense organ very, very sensitive. Only one. But we have all the five sense organs are highly sensitive. Much stronger than animals, as compared to all the five sense organs are stronger than as compared to the animals. Maybe one sense organ may be very powerful in animals. But that powerful sense organ creates a delusion, and they fall into the trap. Think of the masters, the way the masters have examined, analyzed, observed these animals. Perhaps all those masters in earlier days used to live in the forest and in the Himalayas. So like the deer is alerted by the sound of its calf or the mate. In following the sound blindly, it falls into the hunter's trap. The deer animal, the very sense of hearing it relies on lures its danger. So you should not be getting carried away by the sweet sound of the people and the relations. Pre-recorded DVD. We listen to the same song again and again and again. It becomes habitual. No, I'm not saying don't go for it. Sales of those singers will go down. But I have to become aware. I have a capacity to become aware, and from there we can get rid of the delusion. Look at the elephant. The elephant's sensitive sense of touch, especially behind its ears, makes it vulnerable. From there they are controlled. Hunters can immobilize it by attacking that weak spot. Sense of touch. So we have to be aware of the delusion element in the sense of the touch. The moth is drawn by the sight of a bright flame. Its visual sense compels it to fly into the fire. And it dies. The fish is tempted by the prospect of some bait or food. So there is the sense of taste. I like sweet. So I keep on eating sweet for 10 years. What is going to happen, we already know. The master is just pointing out even these animals have one sense organ which is so strong. What about we have all the five sense organs are strong, and that puts us into the delusion. And the bee is enticed by the sweet scent of a lotus flower. In seeking that smell, it gets trapped into the flower petals. That is what is very important to understand. Means that I have to not to follow these five sense organs. Rather, these five sense organs should follow me. And that me is self-awareness. So I have to live my life with this self-awareness. That is what we say, live from a moment to moment. And that is what is, the text is Bhaj Govindam, Bhaj Govindam. So, it seems the Bhaj means pray, worship. No. It means a recognition, a cognitive ability. It is a cognitive ability to bypass any form of the delusion. So it demands a teaching, constant, consistent, regular learning. Helps us. Oh, that guy is not here. Was listening to my session, perhaps, where? In New York? Where people are coming and going. So consistent listening and learning with awareness and attention are required. Consistent means until now you have a clarity. Yes, now I'm not going to be entrapped by any of the five sense organs which had put me into the delusion in the past. It doesn't mean that, whatever I like, I should not eat. But it is with awareness. It should not impact my wisdom. The wisdom should not be taken away. So there is a sense of restraint. The message is that the restraint and control over the senses is important for one's spiritual development. Otherwise, professional development, social development, as a social being, it is important. Indulging the senses whimsically leads to bondage and the suffering. That is what the master is saying. We have a capacity to control the senses through the reason, through the intellect, through the contemplation. That is what the Bhaj Govindam is. Do you remember all the 7 factors? Don't forget and tell, address yourself, oh, you fool. First is the foolishness. What is foolishness? Unexamined life. I don't examine my life. Living on autopilot. That is the first factor. Second factor is the scattered mind. Because of the foolishness, my mind is scattered. You are putting agenda for every day before you go to sleep the previous night, and one day you have no agenda, and then check your mind, how your mind is distracted. I will do this. No, I will do this. No, I must have a clarity in my life. I don't have a clarity. So when I don't have a clarity, the second factor comes, the scattered mind. Disjointed, distracted, lacking mental clarity distracts my attention. That is distraction. People say, I have a wandering mind, Find out what you need to do now. Do you have a distracted mind while driving? on a highway? Let me see. And now you have to understand clearly, because of the foolishness, the first factor, scattered mind, second factor, it causes the attachment. Now I cling to anything available outside or in my head. So these are the factors of the delusion. So initially, our master, this great master, says there are 7 factors which causes the delusion. First, he gives us a taste of the delusion in which we are living, the causing. So the first is foolishness, second is the scattered mind, third is the attachment, and fourth, because of the attachment, I keep on thinking about that. Oh, she was beautiful. Really, I know that. Why you are repeating it? So by repetition, it causes the emotional dependence. Oh, that product is very good. I love that product. I love that. So mind keeps on chanting the mantra of liking and disliking. And that liking and disliking mantra that lives in my mind, it causes the emotional dependence. Fourth factor, the fifth is the selfishness. Now, because, I'm so much attached, I have an emotional dependence. I want to grab it. Go to the dealer. They say only one car is left. Do you like it? First they say, do you like it? Oh, yes, I like it. It's a good car. That's why I'm here. So only one, this car is left. See that? Emotional dependence. Now see, these are the 4 factors, and all the 4 factors results into selfishness. No, I want to grab. So, so your dealer and the salesman, they try to make you more selfish, a strong ego. No, okay, only one is left and I'll have it. So then you'll end up paying more. But this also happens in our relationship day to day. The 5th is the selfishness, and the 6th is the intellectual paralysis. Now my intellect is sleeping. I don't have a reason to. If one is left, then I will buy another car. I went to the dealer recently and they said, oh, only one is left. I said, let us find out, but if only one is left, then some better guy should buy this car. I'm not interested. And after half an hour, they said, I have found another car of same car of different color. I know it. So I should not have an intellectual paralysis. That is the 6th factor. And once we have an intellectual paralysis, the thoughts keeps on coming to my mind. Means I have a changing desire. So that desire creates a vicious circle, and that hides my real self. So on the surface level, desires keeps on changing. And why desire keeps on changing? Because of that sense of ego. And now, I am a 2-legged, I should not say, but that is the fact. We are a 2-legged animal, which does not have a level of self-awareness, that cannot make a choice because of the intellectual paralysis. This is all the story of a delusion. And then the master says what to do. Challenge the false assumptions. Challenge the false assumption with reference to a person, your relationship, your objects, situation, condition. No, I have unfavorable condition. I'm just, totally frustrated. Adversity is there. False assumption. No situation is chasing you and declaring you that you are in an adverse situation. Who tells you? Tell me. No one. I have to challenge these false assumptions. The mind is so much habituated in our day-to-day living. So you have to be, so these, all the first 7 factors ultimately in my mind has created a false assumption in the wrong notion. Absence of, I could say, absence of discerning mindset. In a positive way, if you say. So the discerning mindset is not available to you, and then you are ready to fight and engage in reaction, and then you say, I'm very sensitive, touch me not. Who is going to touch you if you are very sensitive? You touch yourself, you become yours, you make yourself sensitive because of these first 7 factors. Find out when you say I'm very sensitive, you are because of these 7 factors. There is no one outside is making you sensitive. No, I'm very sensitive. Very sensitive. So, then after challenging these false assumptions in your head, you have started thinking. How you can start thinking if you are not listening to the teacher over a length of time, those thoughts will not come. Oh, no, I have heard you. When? Heard you 5 years ago. And what you are hearing now, all the 7 factors, it will not work. That is why we say listening to the teacher is very important. And that is why, just metaphorically, I say I lived with my master for 26 years. Really, I lived with him. Because now, I could hear his voice inside my head. But that is not taking me to the delusion. So once the 8th factor is challenging the false assumption, means that I am self-aware person. Now let me become aware. What happened? What incident happened, took place? I am frustrated, I am angry, I am agitated. Let me examine. I only have the capacity as a human being to examine. No other living beings have that level of self-awareness. Capacity. I have a free intellect. Do you see how 10,000 years ago those masters have recognized the power of intellect? We say, we have an intellectual development for the last 200 or 300 years. Obviously with pertaining to the science and technology, not pertaining to the self-discovery. We already knew it. So then they laid down a plan to put into practice. What is satsang? Constant listening and learning. Listening and learning, I put in an acronym LL, CRP, contemplation, reflection, practice. So once you follow the first part, it results into you break the attachment. Which one is the factor? 3rd factor, attachment. Discerning mindset. So you remove your changing desires. So what happens? You attack your attachment, discernment, and you have a dispassion. Obviously, you are free. When? Within few seconds, just after the contemplation. Leave that guy. He did it. Maybe I also become angry sometime, and so he become angry. Okay, let me forgive. Let me get rid of this idea and the thought. You have that sense of awareness. It will only come by the 9th factor, satsanga. And now the 10th factor. The 10th factor says what happens now. Your mind starts moving from ignorance to wisdom. That is the most famous mantra. Have you heard? Asato ma satgamaya. Moving from the false to the real. Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya. Lead me from ignorance to wisdom. And 3rd is from mortality to, but we are coming to the 10th factor, is ignorance to wisdom. Remember this. Ignorance to wisdom is the 10th factor. But if I say I can instantly remove the ignorance and I will move into the wisdom without challenging the false assumption and without following this technique, that is the 9th one, the satsang, nothing will happen. Oh, we may live in intellectual fantasy. I have heard it, I know it, and still I have a problem. Many people say, I know it, I understand what you are saying. I understand. I understand you. I don't understand me. Understand yourself. Entire journey of the self-discovery is that. Understand yourself. Need not to understand others. Obliviousness. I'm giving another word to foolishness. Obliviousness. I'm oblivious. I'm sitting here. Are you listening to me? Or are you oblivious? Are you listening to me? Are you sure you are listening to me? Or you are listening to your own thoughts? Another word. So if you don't like foolishness, it's oblivious. So sometimes we are oblivious of the people who are in front of me. Why I'm oblivious? Because my mind is attached somewhere. Chaotic cognition. I have a cognition, but I say, no, I'm frustrated. My mind is constantly distracted. I'm not able to pay attention to you. I will listen to you again. It's a chaos. Mind is in chaos. That's another word, I'm giving to the second factor. Grasping. Chains of attachment and detachment. Conditional contentment. Emotional dependence is conditional contentment. It means that condition is more important in my life than the very object in the situation and the relationship. You should have behaved properly. I'm very upset with you. People have different temperament. They will behave the way they want to behave based on their level of awareness. Why should I worry? We normally try to push our kids. And we have behaved erratically with our parents, we forget it. Can you tell me, in their childhood, no one behaved erratically with their parents? Is there anyone in the world? I don't remember. Conditional attachment. And then what it reminds, conditional attachment results into myopic mind. Not myopic eyes, myopic mind. Fixed outlooks. Now I have fixed outlook. And what is known as the mirage is the 7th factor, is the intellectual paralysis. Elusive factor constantly works. So what I have to do? I have to go beyond the illusion. How I have to go? I have to think. That very thinking is also a practice in Eastern wisdom. Did I pick up the topic where why mind does not think rightly? Untrained mind, uneducated mind. Uneducated means, I don't mean by, don't feel bad about it. Uneducated, untrained mind means that we are not trained our mind through the Eastern wisdom. And that is why we are not able to think. So we are not able to challenge our delusion. And then what happens? So if you are started thinking about it, and ultimately the 4 factors, LLCRP, listening and learning, contemplation, reflection, and practice, will definitely help you to get rid of the attachment and the selfishness. That is what you feel. Even you attend the very first session, you have done some practice of meditation, you share your experience, there is a calmness. But that realization comes after consistent listening and learning. that realization does not come in one session. It is not possible. No, it is possible for me. Then you are already an awakened guy since your childhood. You should not attend my session. You are already awakened. So now, normally people say to me, no, I have attended your session. I know what you talk about. So that the path to the clarity comes by the practice. And the 10th factor is the delusion to discernment and dispassion, ignorance to wisdom. Ignorance to wisdom. So if I take up the 10th factor specifically, how I translated it, and you see what it says. Well, last time also I took it, but in a different way. So, vayasi gati kah kam vikaraha. Almost, no, majority of you are young, but maybe we have passed the youth stage of being the youth. Dad says something, no, I know it. Dad, I know it, I'll do it. You see, the kind of veil is there on the mind. And why the veil? Because of the hormonal changes. So why? Because we enter into the lust instantly. This guy, is 32 years old and he said, I gave 200% to her. I said, who told you to give 200% to her? You have been with me for the last 2 years. You have not given even 50% to me. And you are talking that you gave 200% to her? So, do you understand? I believe you understand. And that is why she left you. I'm still chasing, at least you give me 100% in every lesson. Understand, my friend? So in that youth stage, so Master is using a metaphor. In the youth stage, we instantly get caught by the lust, sensuality. So what now we none of us have that youthful lust. What happened to that lust now? After the ages, we have realized, we have recognized. It has evaporated like the water in a river. So when the water is evaporated in a river, that river does not remain the river. Are you getting it? The sense, you have to extract the essence of it. Oh. And same thing we say is you have lot of money. You are dependent on the money. And when the money is gone, what happens? Have you a time? Have you 5 minutes of the time? How much dependent on the wealth I am? Then I will constantly think my interest rate has gone up. Housing market is going to crash. I hear the news. You see the mindset. Housing market is going to crash. You are living in your house? Yes, I'm living in my house. No, but you see, a housing market is going to crash. The interest rate has gone up. We get bombarded by these ideas. Now his honey trapped him and killed him. CNN says that I may remind you it happened 10 years ago. The FBI found it. That is how we live in that society. Everywhere, in every country. So what the Master is saying, when the truth is known, what is that truth? I'm the real self. Everything is gone. All the 7 factors are gone. What is the indication of all the seven factors are gone? You wake up in peace in every situation throughout the day. You are in peace and you say, okay, rest in peace. Not the other way. You sleep in peace. I'm not saying RIP. Don't think in the other negative. So throughout the day, situation has changed. You talk to so many people, you did lot of activities, but behind peace, 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 calmness. Is it not the beginning of an awakening? Tell me. Is it not the beginning of an awakening? Those seven factors must go. If these seven factors are not going, it will not work. How it will go? Eighth, ninth, 10th verse, eighth factor. I have to challenge my false assumption. If you do not challenge your false assumption, nothing is going from your system. What is that system? The mind, the emotions, the ego. It will attack you with kind of an attachment. It will continue to do so. And then once you start challenging the false assumption, then comes the second factor. Then the learning starts in the Eastern wisdom. Even though Eastern wisdom have already started from the first factor. But then what happens? Listening and learning, contemplation, reflection, the practice over a length of the time. And then first time you recognize delusion to discernment and dispassion. What happens throughout the day? Since you wake up in the morning, I was telling you, you sleep only 1 hour. It's okay. Because your level of awareness is high, you can manage that. Eyes are closed. Close your eyes, my friends. Close your eyes, physical eyes, and close your eyes of the mind also. But keep listening to me. Close your eyes of the mind from the other thoughts which you have. Practice is nothing but the thought, passing on the thought. So a position of the body, you're comfortable, you're carefree, check, know, understand, realize that you are comfortable and carefree. I'm not going in detail to explain you what it means by being comfortable and carefree. Why? Because you are a seeker. But sometime on some day you find that, body causes lot of unease and discomfort. One of the seven factors are active. And we instantly change the very process of the thinking in the mind. How? Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. May there be happiness for all. So you see that you are going for an ultimate cause for the happiness. How to know? Master says there are 3 levels. What are the 3 levels? The outermost is the physical. Second level is the subtler. Subtle level is the mind, intellect, ego, thought process. And the third level is the so-called the spiritual level. Why it is formless? It is pure consciousness level. There is located the happiness. So your mind makes It looks at that. That peace, in essence, everyone, nature is happiness. Why? Everyone is searching for happiness. From the ant to elephant to tiger to human being. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Can you plead in your mind? No, I can plead against someone. I have a lot of pleading, blame, and complaint game in my head. That is why you are suffering. May there be peace for all. Yeah, now see, put may there be peace on wall. There's thought on one side and the rest of blame and complaint thoughts on the other side, and see what happens to your mind. Check. Within minutes, he'll go to the kitchen and grab a cup of coffee. You know, my mind is crazy now. It is that important message the Master gives through these mantras. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu, Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu, Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. May there be completeness in all. Completeness means unlimited. I don't feel the sense of limitedness. So how the master, another master, this mantra is written by another master. So this master is not talking about the first 7 factors. He has summarized these 7 factors as a sense of limitedness. You have to understand that way. So I can leave those 7 factors. Then I feel the sense of completeness. Sense of completeness is peace, happiness, love, truth, wisdom. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu, Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. May there be auspiciousness for all. So then there is already an auspicious once I recognize this. Even in thought process, answer is yes. Existence loves us. That's why we are still alive. In every situation, in every adversity, existence has an opportunity for us. I believe you are getting the message of these teachers, looking inside their forehead in the space. Om Shanti, drop gently. Om Shanti at an interval, not very fast. Very fast means mind is wandering. So it wants to create some sense of hurry. I talked about hurry, worry, and curry. And then you start breathing into the chest. Expansion of the ribs, contraction of the ribs, gentle and quick and short breath in the state of the stillness in the body. 4th point of awareness, keep checking if your flow of the breath is equal to both the nostrils. Continue breathing. Your chest breathing is on a cruise. Oh, I got new word. On a cruise. So you're not moving anything. Cruise simply means you're not moving. Even you're not pedaling. No brake. And that brake means the objection coming from the mind because of your past impressions. You need to recognize it. Any resistance, and you endure the resistance, paying attention to the flow of the breath and continuing with, that will grow. That is what the cruise is. Continue breathing, belly no, chest yes, expansion and contraction, steadiness in the body, or I would say the stillness in the body continues. Rhythmic breath means the cruise. Om Shanti also continues. You're not in a hurry. You see that every point helps you to live into that higher awareness. Not a big deal if you are committed. It's a very big deal if you are not committed. And stop this breathing. Allow the breath to be normal and bring your awareness on the flow of the breath. Maybe awareness of the flow of the breath may be hijacked by any resistance, by any other thought, and that is what the scattered mind is. So you simply recognize, you need not to press and force your mind. Don't be so much sensitive, even if any thought comes. Casually you're looking, and that helps you to focus more attention on the flow of the breath and keeps your body steady, keeps your mind living within. That is what we are understanding and doing the practice. So, in that state now, looking inside the forehead, Om Shanti, and start breathing from the belly longer and the hissing breath into the belly. Longer breath. Check the flow of the breath, stillness in the body. Om Shanti continues. This is just chest breathing, belly breathing, and both the breathing has more to do with keeping your awareness on the track. Gradually you will recognize. But in the beginning, obviously, we recognize if we are breathing, it helps me to relax. Yeah, it's okay. Belly breathing, it's a longer breath because you're breathing into the belly. Obviously, that metaphorically means you're breathing uh, into the lower lobes of the lungs. That is what in scientific way we say diaphragmatic breathing. Look at the beauty. Your body is still. You are doing the longer breath. You're doing the Om Shanti. Who knows what you're doing? All except you. And now leave this. Allow the breath to be normal. Pay attention on the flow of the breath. Only, and I have already discussed, so I need not to say it. Whichever flow is less, you have to pay attention there, and if the flow of the breath is equal, obviously you are paying attention to to the flow of the breath from both the nostrils in the state of the stillness in the body. And you can definitely experience the mind is living within. What it means that the mind is living within. First 7 factors you are attacking. Now looking inside the forehead, in the space, continue with Om Shanti. Stillness continues and start breathing both from the belly and the rib cage, long, deep in the hissing breath. You first inhale into the belly, it expands, then continue inhaling into the rib cage. Do not give a break to the breath. So first the chest expands, first the belly expands, then the chest. Follows during exhalation, first the belly contracts and then the chest. That is with the long, deep and the hissing breath. Continue it, deep, long in the breath. Now if your both the nostrils are open, you will discover that it becomes little bit challenging inhaling and exhaling such a long and deep breath. But fact is that that gives you the sense of the freedom because both the nostrils are totally open. Continue. Mind says enough, but you continue. So which mind says enough? You know it. One of the 7 factors, or all the 7 factors are together. So in the beginning, we do not know how many factors at a particular state or a situation attacks me. But when you do the consistently regular practice, you will recognize what happened to me, why I am crazy. And allow the breath to be normal. Stop this long breath. Experience the state of the steadiness, calmness, relaxation on the flow of the breath. Pay attention on the flow of the breath. You're not paying attention only on the flow of the breath. When you pay attention on the flow of the breath, you are paying attention if the mind is attacked by first of the seven factors in any way. So you have now an endurance, you have a state of awareness where the body is still, you are living within, you can instantly recognize, you can endure it. So that endurance takes the time. Now Om Shanti on the 16 segments of the fingers, but you know how to do it. Mind's eye, mind's ear, mind's touch, mind's speech. So you are not asking the sense organ to go out with the mind and touch the point. No, it's everything is happening in the mind. Continue with Om Shanti. Sometime you will find out the mind moves the fingers. No way. Fingers doesn't move. It's a mind is moving. But how can I see the segments? Thought image. There are a lot of principles involved, but just continue. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Whatever the way you want to sing, everything is okay. In fact, your mind will follow your inner state. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. And now we take this Om Shanti on a triangle deep inside the heart. You already know, moving in a clockwise and anti-clockwise. So awareness of the side of a triangle of any color, moving the mind on the side of a triangle while dropping Om Shanti. Find the sync. And once you discover this sync, then your mind last time says Om. Now instead the mind is saying, mind is being pushed by the Om deep inside the cave of your heart. Mind seemingly stops, Shanti, and finished. Self-absorption, emptiness, or so-called nothing. That nothingness is very much alive, conscious, livable. Many people suffer from anxiety and depression. They say, I feel empty and blankness. It is not that blankness. It is full of calmness, joy, higher level of awareness. Yes, anytime this rhythm breaks, you have an option to go to the triangle. Even when you are doing Om Shanti on a triangle, that too is a meditative state. Uh, according to Patanjali, there are 7 stages. Roughly, here we can understand the 2 stages. There is no word or a thought, an object of meditation when there is a self absorption. That is higher state, then continuing on a triangle with Om Shanti. So, all you need to discover how long you live into the state of the self absorption, but you are conscious, you are aware of it, my friends. Beautiful. Continue. Even the continue doesn't make a sense. We continue with reference to the distance and the time and object, but here nothing of that sort is there. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Sri Shanti reminds you every time the first Shanti, the physical existence perceived by the senses and the mind. Second is the subtler level, the thought, concept, and the principles. And the third Shanti is the permanent Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Either you move from inside to outside, that eternal peace to mental peace to physical, or you can make the journey from the physical to the mental to formless. That is what the spirituality is. Move your mind on the right hand. Move your mind on the left hand, lift your both the palms, place it on your eyes, open the eyes inside the palms. Know your experiences, bring the hands down. We'll share our experiences, and if you have any question, how are you, Stephen? We say that we don't talk about that we are in a spiritual session, but everything is what is happening is all about the spirituality. Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Great lesson. I've been contemplating and reflecting since Saturdays, and your mathematical equation of experience, and my comments on Saturday was being able to put the focus on the consciousness and not the objective knowledge and the objects itself. And it's almost as if I've taken a seat backwards and just become an observer of not only myself, but everybody around me, and being able to recognize that whole experience concept. And that's led me into this really leaning into the consciousness and the peace, and the happiness, the love, truth, and wisdom. And even listening to today and going through the different factors and how that relates to everything that I've been observing, it makes a lot of sense. And it just led for an incredible self-absorbed meditation that the moment I close my eyes I could probably sit here all day is the way I feel. So it was great. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Beautiful. You can sit the whole day. Go on contemplating and reflecting what exactly is this self-absorption. It is the same consciousness. Self-absorption means that there is no two. It's a non-dual. It's a non-dual awareness. It's a beautiful explanation. Thank you, Stephen. How are you, Samir? Otherwise, Samir will be upset. Why he's not asking me.
It was very peaceful.
Ego is very peaceful?
No, sir. How can ego be peaceful? Okay. Ego is creating all the trouble. Okay. Ego is only creating. Ego is there. That's why I am with you.
Okay, that's why you're.
You dilute the ego.
Very good. Very good, Samir. Thank you. Yes.
Now these answers in the mind are coming on their own. As negativity comes, the answer comes.
Yeah.
The negativity comes and answer comes automatically. It is happening from last 1 or 2 months. I am experiencing this. Means answer, I am not thinking anything.
Yes.
But something what you have said, what you have told me, what you have learned from you, it replies in my mind.
That is the 10th factor, moving from ignorance to wisdom. And because we have been doing a regular, consistent practice, so that knowledge is already settled. And the moment any negativity comes, it simply dissolves in the presence of darkness, dissolves in the presence of the light. That is how the masters have been explaining metaphorically. Very good. Wonderful, Samir. How are you, Brandy? You know, that guy when no, okay, I will not talk. This is not good. Yes, Brandy, yes. So.
The lesson was really great for me today. I was thinking about like what my sensitive spot, like the elephant behind the ears are. And it's a lot of things, including the housing market, right?
Yeah.
And it's helpful to, realize what our sensitive spots are, because then they can't control us, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so.
I pick up the contemporary issues, and that's why, I heard the news and I said, what it has to do with my mind? Housing market and this, and, it will be, what we say, the word is that it will be crash. Housing market is going to crash. Don't crash your mind. That is more important. That is the journey. Some people, they try to promote this beer, guys. Don't promote. First, you promote your mind towards this Eastern wisdom is very important. And once you bring about a change in your behavior and attitude, with that behavior and attitude, talk to your friend. Oh, please come and join my session. I have overlooked, I'm ignoring what other guy was telling me that I'm promoting you. I don't want to mention anyone. Don't do that. You don't need that. How are you, Dennis?
Thank you. It was a deep and quiet meditation. At the end, there was extreme itching sensation in the body, and then I recalled your explanation that experiences are objectless, and I separated that object, the body, from the itching sensation, and it was like no more itching, just the sensation of calmness.
Only an awareness is required. Now a non-seeker says, no, if itching is there, so should I not scratch? That is the answer from the non-seeker. I don't have any answer, so I just keep mum. But this is, the itching is an object, knowledge of an object coming from the Saturday. You are mixing it the way the Stephen is mixing up. It is gone. It goes away. Beautiful. Thank you, Janice. How are you, Christina?
Namaste. And feeling that sense of that inner peace and connection with the higher consciousness is the most important task on the to-do list every single moment of the day.
Yeah, that's really beautiful. You see, that is one reason I left psychotherapy long back. How are you, Terry? Beautiful. Christina, yes, keep that to-do list. Yes, Christina. Yeah, Terry.
I kept thinking about balance. I'm always amazed by how articulate everyone is, and I wish I could put myself into words.
You can articulate. You can live into that state. That is the finest articulation.
Yeah, I kept thinking about it's like riding a bicycle. You continue.
Yeah.
And then you don't fall. But if you go to one side or the other, then you fall.
Yeah. That's so we are learning not to fall. Why we are learning not to fall? Because we are that consciousness. You see, we are that consciousness. I see something and I'm attached, so I am now falling. So I have an option. I continue to see and still I do not fall. Do you see the point?
Yeah.
Hey, Terry, you look so beautiful with these goggles.
You become free.
Yeah.
That way. Yeah.
Beautiful. That's really good.
But you have to continue.
Yes. How are you, Vaibhav? Vaibhav is left.
Thank you, sir. The mind was calm, it became clear, and it's like it encourages me to perform every activity with clear, like be clear and be calm. Still do it, but don't get carried forward with it.
Yeah.
It's calm.
Again, the same thing what Dennis and the Stephen and Randy and everyone is explaining. Behind it, there is consciousness, there is an object, we have to experience, a long list. So that I think everyone has done. Terry, you are looking beautiful with these goggles.
I want to. I have a migraine.
Okay.
Obstacle.
Do this practice every day, at least 5 times today.
Okay.
And see where your migraine. That is all. Thank you very much. We'll meet again.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Namaste.